surface for breathing for once, if it goes on repeating coming to the surface, until finally it has ejected that object of irritation, it is very much likely. I mean, it is not impossible. If not likely, it is not impossible at all. So because the Holy Quran does not word the use that the fish, whatever it was, swallowed Jonah whole to its belly. So that account, according to me, can be accepted literally. And as far as the biblical account is concerned, either it has to be rejected or it has to be accepted metaphorically. And I think the normal thing would be to accept it to be literally, because this has become a legend, a figure. Otherwise, every prophet goes through the same experience of crisis. If it is taken metaphorically, it wouldn't mean anything. Why Jonah alone to be quoted as having been swallowed by a fish, if it is only to indicate a crisis he was facing? So every prophet faces crisis and comes out whole of each such crisis. So I think it would be meaningless unless we take it to be literal happening. Yes, please. Any other question? Rashid Sahib, I know you are getting restless like the whale was before she ejected Jonah. Huh? So what are you going to order?
I had a cramp in my leg, that's all.
Fun?
I had a cramp in my leg, that's all.
Achha. So you turned it to your advantage, catching my eye.
I have two small questions to ask, if you allow me to.
Of course, I would, but one after the other, please. One by one. First one and then second, if the time permits.
Africa is usually referred as the darkest country, darkest continent.
Why?
That's what I'm going to ask.
That is what I am asking you.
Africa is usually referred as the darkest continent.
Not darkest, it is referred to as the dark continent, not as the darkest.
Is there any religious explanation for this?
I mean, it's not a religious term at all. Why should there be a religious explanation for a term coined by irreligious people?
I'm asking this because in Nigeria there is no written history of any sort of religion prior to English people going there and starting out whatever they did.
Who tells you this?
I found this through some chiefs.
Which chiefs? Who?
Somebody has come from Nigeria.
Yes.
He has mentioned this, that there is no prior history to British people going to Nigeria or northern Africa, for that matter.
No, it's totally wrong. I refer to you to a book written by Mr. Kenyatta. Joseph Kenyatta, was it? Jomo Kenyatta, that's right. The name of the book is Mount Kenya or something.
Facing Mount Kenya.
Mount Kenya, that's right, yes. It's a very interesting book on African mind, not only about the Kenyans, but on the African mind and the relationship of African religious thought with the Christianity and the interplay and the questions it has raised and so on and so forth. So you better read that book. That chief was definitely a greater chief than your chief. He knows Africa much better. Nowhere in Africa will you find any people, any tribe, without the concept of religion which they have inherited from the past. there is an order, there is a system, an interrelationship between the two, between so many religions, but ultimately it leads to one. And also there is another book which I have forgotten the title, but I do have it somewhere in Rabba. That's also written on Africa. It's a very interesting book, much more interesting than this, the book which gives a history of religious forces working in Africa who came from outside, or forces which were, which reacted from within, and ultimate question which this struggle raised in the minds of Africans and so on. It also gives very interesting data on the Christian missionaries of various churches, and it's mind-boggling that data. In South Africa, for instance, the book tells us that about 25,000 churches are made by just one single church organization, and so on and so forth. So read that book, and then you will know that there was not only a native religion and concept of God, but it kept on resisting the foreign influences of various religions, and is still kept alive. Please. Yes, after this, please, I would like you to ask, because we are talking of your continent.
The concept of Africa being a dark continent.
Yes.
I had the opportunity to discuss this with some friends at Cambridge University.
I see.
They did invite me to speak about this concept.
I see. I see. This was the subject of your speech. This is interesting. Yes. So you are the right person to advise us as to how it came into being and its validity, etc.
As the Zola already pointed out, it has something to do with the meaning we talk about.
Of course.
It's a geographical concept.
Yes.
And those who try to write about Africa in the past, they don't go into the interior of Africa to know the existence of all empires in Africa. One of them was the empire of Ghana, whose capital excavated, they used to continue some 600 years ago, most recent. And it was only the Sahara encroaching on the city that made people come down. And these people, according to Israel, crossed the Red Sea from the Middle East to Egypt, and then moved down. So there was
So this is a connotation of being impregnable or unreachable, inaccessible. That's right, yes. It could not be penetrated deep enough, so there was always a mystery of unknown about it. So that is why they call it dark.
And there's a plateau nature of the continent.
Yes.
They couldn't take both inside when they thought.
And also, I think it's far too shaded by the, by the lush growth of jungle and wood. There are large patches in Africa which are really dark even during the day because of this lush growth. Only the top surface of the trees sees light. And particularly in Congo, there are still areas where no light reaches the soil because of this. Yes, it's so thick.
Now this, about the concept of God, if you examine African languages linguistically, we take the tree, for instance, which I speak in Ghana. We have Onyankopon. Onyankopon, the end pon there is the omnipotent.
I see.
The omnipotent.
It's omnipotent,
so,
yes.
The omnipotent. So it runs through several languages along the West African coast. The Yorubas have it. So I'm really